John, great to have you on the show. Thank you very much. I think I want to get a bit of pushback from you on what he said about farmers. He basically said that he is in favour of farmers being quite angry about this inheritance tax rise. I mean, it's just emerged that a farmer has appeared to have taken his own life, John, after hearing the budget. Is that on Keir Starmer, do you think?
No, I don't believe so. I think it's very dangerous to speculate about the cause of any suicide. Suicide by any individual is tragic. Tragic for them, tragic for their families, tragic for their communities, and one has to feel for the family of that farmer. But suicide's a very personal decision. It's motivated by all kinds of things. I think it's wrong to draw any.
Well, we have spoken to the son of that individual, but I do take your point. I mean, Boris called it dumb. I mean, is it dumb? I mean, the Labour Party have now won quite a few rural seats, and they've managed to alienate them all, haven't they?
No. Because most people in rural seats aren't farmers, but those who are farmers and small farmers won't actually be affected by this change. This is a change clamping down on tax avoidance. I'm not surprised that Boris Johnson wants to support tax avoidance, but the Labour Party doesn't support tax avoidance, avoiding inheritance tax through this device of buying farms. And that's right. Farmers still get a privileged status for their farms, and I think that may or may not be right. I'm personally in favour of doing to farmers who want to go on the streets, we can do to them what Margaret Thatcher did to the miners. So
just to be clear, John, you would beat them up?
No, close them. I mean, there's an industry we could do without.
So, okay, all right. So this got weird. So you would do to farmers what Margaret Thatcher did to miners, which was, and she used very heavy-handed police tactics, followed by what? Putting them out of business.
If people are so upset that they want to go on the streets and spray slurry on them, then we don't need the small farmers.
Right. OK, John, I'm not sure that's a particular... You were, just to clarify, you were a former Labour special advisor, possibly emphasis on the word former there. But just to go on, Ed Miliband, I mean, Boris Johnson, I put it to him, are you Ed Miliband in a wig? He said no. But, I mean, Ed Miliband has already spent the entire black hole on carbon capture, £22 billion worth for the North East, made by a Norwegian company. So none of that money initially will go to a British company. He also stands accused of fudging the figures when it comes to net zero by using the National Energy Systems operator to bolster his arguments. It does turn out that, oh, shock horror, he is the person of special interest at that company, isn't he? So is his position tenable, do you think?
Yeah, of course it is. And Boris babbled on, as he usually does. He did nothing to take forward nuclear power. He offered 700 million to EDF. It would be great if there were cross-party consensus, but the Cameron government got rid of the nuclear fleet that had been agreed previously, and they closed down an entire nuclear program. You didn't do anything on nuclear power for 13 years, though, either, did you, John? To be fair. No, we had the nuclear proposals, which were closed down by Cameron. Nick Clegg boasted they're not going to be any use because they won't be delivering any power. The first station won't come on stream until 2022.
Final thing. Quick fire round, right? Yeah. Final round, and then we'll get you out of here. Quick fire round. The farmers' protest, supposedly taking place on November the 19th. Will you go? Do you support them?
When is it?
Supposedly November the 19th.
Well, look, it's a really, really dumb thing to do. We are struggling. I mean,
not the protest. I'm assuming the inheritance.
No, the inheritance tax thing. We're struggling to keep people on the land, to make sure that farmers are incentivised to hand over their business to their descendants. I mean, my own family was in the same position, and I can tell you, it's an absolute nightmare.
So you support the idea
of a
process?
Look, I haven't been invited to this process. I didn't know. You're the first to mention it to me.
But you would go if you were
I'm
asked.
obviously not in favour of breaking the law. If this protest involves squirting slurry at, Labour politicians, and I obviously won't support it. But if I'm around, and it seems to me to be
if you happen to see a tractor,
If I happen to see a tractor, I'm not excluding the possibility that I would strongly sympathise with the driver of that tractor.
All right,
because I think it's mad. It's absolutely mad. I don't know why they've done it.
Makes no sense to me, because what he basically is saying is if you're that upset you're going to protest, then we don't need you. That's not how protest works, John Todd. If people are protesting like that, the left should listen to them, not silence them and say, why are you doing that? It's just awful.
So does he apply that to the people who protest every Saturday in central London and big towns and cities about Palestine?
Well, we're seeing this kind of punitive mindset of Labour, aren't we? Let's talk to Kelly Seaton, a farmer in Cheshire. Kelly, good morning. So apparently we don't need family farms. If you're that upset you're going to cause a protest, we don't need you. What was John talking about?
You know, it just shows what seems to be the Labour Party's absolute hatred towards farmers or anyone that tries to work and make good for themselves. I was absolutely astounded. I've seen that clip several times floating around, and, you know, we always felt like maybe Labour didn't understand, and we hoped it was that they didn't understand, but actually it seems that maybe it comes more from hatred than misunderstanding.
But Labour, and just to be clear, this is John McTurner's personal opinion. We shouldn't, you know, tar all of the Labour Party with this same brush. But it seemed like I can't rationalise it. Can you rationalise what he was trying to say? I watched the whole interview.
He's saying, how dare you protest against a government policy? If you don't like the government policy, disappear. You're not going to disappear, Kelly,
Okay, so
we
it's
hope.
an authoritarian mindset is what we're seeing, Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely. And what he doesn't seem to understand is obviously what happened with the miners' strikes was absolutely tragic and a travesty to the UK. But we are women and children as well, not just men that are causing trouble. We are women and children that are passionate about saving our industry. It's an industry that is worth fighting for at the end of the day. And we are the only industry that is a price taker, not a price maker. So this is alongside everything else that we're being attacked with. We have supermarkets with cost of production models that tell you how much profit you are allowed to make. In what other industry is that the case?
Well, Kelly, we will be welcoming you here when you descend on London for the protest next week, and I think you might come in and see us in GB News. Aren't you going to come and see us?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, look, Kelly, lovely to talk to you. It's Kelly Seaton, a small farmer. I think that remark is going to haunt him because
I
it's
hadn't
outrageous.
seen it in that context. That what he's saying is if the government says it's the right thing to do, you should just shut up, put up and take it. Otherwise, we will punish you. Well, what does that tell us about the Labour mindset?
But I just want to say one thing about Margaret Thatcher. Harold Wilson's Labour government closed more coal mines than Margaret Thatcher's government.
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you, for the Britain that you love and for the values that you believe in. We are your fearless champions, but we need your support. From just £5 a month, you can make sure that your views are always heard. GB News is the only news channel with the courage to say what the silent majority are really thinking. If it matters to you, it matters to us. Join thousands of members and become part of the GB News community today. Go to gbnews.com/support.